The tagline is we don't sweat your wallet, we just sweat your body. I didn't know how to post on social media. I didn't know how to do anything. I was totally new at business, and I learned a lot of ways not to open and run a gym. If you don't have Kilo yet, go out and get a consultation, because if you use it right, I would say it can change the trajectory of your business. It has for mine. So
All right, and welcome to Gym World Worldwide. Dear listener, dear gym owner, my name is Mateo Lopez. I am solo hosting today. My partner in crime, John Franklin, he's on, I don't think this is a private, he's on baby watch. You know, he could have a baby at any moment here.
I'm gonna be a dad.
He is on baby high alert for an incoming baby. Any day, any moment could happen. So he needs to be ready. He needs to have the go bag. And so it's just me. And today I am joined with Scott Drapo. Drapo. The first one.
Drapo.
Second one.
No, the
Drapo.
second one.
Scott
Almost.
Drapo
Yeah.
of Alliance Athletics in Olympia, Washington, from the great state of Washington. And we're going to talk about a lot of things today. We're going to talk about Scott's journey from going from 50 members all the way to 300, PRing that member count in the last 2 years here. We're going to talk about his approach to branding and marketing and how to position yourself in an ever-growing fitness landscape. And I'm also curious about his marketing and sales process. He gets a lot of leads. And so I want to know, what's the secret? What's the secret there? So we're going to talk about all of that. But first, Scott, how are you?
I'm doing really good. It is finally turning sunny here in Washington. So
Nice.
I'm enjoying the vitamin D as it
There you
rolls
go.
in.
Yes, I heard it's a great time to be in Washington. I heard that it is
Yes.
quite nice this time of year. So maybe one day
Yep.
I'll make it over.
If you ever want to be here, don't come during the 2 weeks that's really nice during summer and say, "Oh, this is perfect," because the rest of the time it's very
Yeah, no,
cloudy and very
I
rainy.
won't be fooled. Now maybe what I'll do is I'll come in January 1st, and then
Exactly.
I'll come in June, so I get the
Exactly.
full experience. All right, so I guess before we get started, in your own words, tell us a little bit about Alliance Athletics.
Sure. So we are a 24/7 gym that is kind of located right smack in the middle of downtown. We've been open for about 3 years now. We are a queer-friendly gym. So we've always catered to the queer community, which is pretty large and pretty prominent in Olympia. We have created a space that allows anybody to come in and experience kind of a black iron gym. So it's a lot of squat racks, a lot of strength equipment, dumbbells, free weights, but with the environment that is a little bit more conducive to people actually coming in and enjoying the space, as opposed to feeling intimidated by maybe the culture or maybe some of the members that are there and the attitudes that they have. So just a place that they could be themselves.
Yeah, I've noticed, looking at your website, looking at your social. Yeah, as you said, Black Iron, like functional fitness is definitely happening in this place. You have a bit of a powerlifting background as well, I think,
I
right?
do.
So
Yes.
strength training, serious strength training is happening in this gym.
Oh, yeah.
But as you said, I think you've done a lot in the space to make it welcoming to maybe people who are normally intimidated by what they would consider a traditional gym setting, but who want to get healthy and fit.
Yes. One of the first things that we do, and one of the big offerings that we have, is our take on the no sweat intro. I know that's like a big thing where it's usually a consultative process. We actually put people through a workout, and we teach them how to squat, how to bench, and how to deadlift in a 45-minute span. We've got it pretty much down to a science where you can get somebody in that has never been to a gym before and get them in those three movements at least, with, if not a barbell, then with dumbbells, and if not with dumbbells, then with body weight, and just giving them that instant boost to be able to say, oh, like, this is actually not crazy that I can do this. I'm actually much stronger than I realize. And then once you can get them through the beginner newbie gains, they become pretty well hooked after that. So bringing that right off the get and saying, no, we just come in, we'll teach you, no judgment, we will guide you through that whole process is such an easy way to get people through the door and get them to sign up.
Interesting. So an actual sweat intro is actually what it
And
is.
actually, yeah.
It's a
So
sweat
I've
intro.
been, yes, yeah. So we don't, the tagline is we don't sweat your wallet, we just sweat your body. So
Yes, there you go.
that's,
Yeah.
there you go.
No sweat about joining, no pressure, but there will be some
Exactly.
sweat involved in that you will be
Exactly.
moving.
Exactly.
Okay, no, I like
Exactly.
it. A sexy sweat.
I wish I could slip $1 through the computer.
Tell me a little bit about the space itself. How big is it? I know it's partially an access gym, and then partially you have one-on-ones and small groups in PT. So tell me about the space, the size, the layout. Walk me through it.
So this is actually the coolest part is when, we're talking about the 50 members, I actually started out of my garage. So I had all of my stuff. This is my second gym. The first one was a disaster, mostly due to branding, actually, which we'll get into.
Oh,
And yeah, oh yeah, it was bad. But this one started in my garage. I had a couple members. I was a massage therapist, so I was able to get enough massage therapy clients to be able to open up an 800 square foot gym. That's how we started, and this was before we signed up with Kilo. I got about 40 to 50 members recurring. They used physical keys to get in. I mean, it was a mess, but we were really on brand, 24/7 access right off the get, and being able to bring that strength training and almost like a private gym feeling, like a private garage gym, really helped bring people in that didn't want to go to a Planet Fitness or a big box gym. I signed up with Kilo, and that's when things really started to roll, and we doubled in size with both the space and the people that signed up. So we went from 50 to 100 members pretty quick, and then it only took another 6 months, and now we're in 4,000 square feet where, and we have three, it's the entire retail floor that we're in. We're in a retail space with lots of windows, lots of light. And we're actually, I just signed a lease to do an internal expansion where we're busting down the office and busting down all the walls that were dividing everything. And we're bringing about 300 more square feet of gym floor. So it'll be a completely open space, open concept, which I'm really looking forward to. It's kind of the ultimate vision of what we had when we got into that tiny slice of 800 square feet.
what's the calculation there? Like, what's the math to figuring out, you know what? Actually, what we need to do is we need another 400, 300 square feet to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, it's pretty easy when you're looking at it, and we focused on barbells when we first got into the space, and now we've kind of matured as a gym, and we have the leverage to be able to go out and get pieces of equipment because we're pretty well bootstrapped as far as cash flow, so we can go and get the $300 piece of commercial gym equipment that someone's selling on Facebook Marketplace, and no one expects any of it to be new. They just want it to work. And so when we're looking at it, I don't do massage therapy anymore. I have moved beyond that part of my career. And so having a 10 by 10 office in the middle of the floor, it just doesn't make any sense. And the landlords gave me a really good rate on actually they fronted all the cash and they're doing all the work, and we're just adding it onto our monthly monthly cash flow, monthly expenses. So it was really a no-brainer to give people more gym space, lower the footprint of admin, because we don't really use the office all that much. I mostly work from home. The trainers all have iPads, and we just need someplace to talk to people when we're doing our consultation process. So we don't need a huge office. The whole point of having our community based sort of gym is letting people have access to the equipment. And so we'll eventually cap membership before we get too crowded. And so having a little bit more floor space will allow a higher cap.
And any advice for someone who's thinking about knocking down a couple walls and needs to have that conversation with their landlord?
Most of them are reasonable. Commercial property owners. So my landlord has actually been relatively cool. They own a ton of property here in town, and they built the office when I asked for it. Just make sure it makes sense. Like every time I take on new debt or every time I take on an extra cost, I always make sure that I factor that into my bottom line. So anytime I take out a loan or anytime I take out anything that's extra, as long as it makes sense within your cash flow and you can account for it, and it's something that is going to bring maybe not an immediate ROI, but definitely something that's going to be a positive change for your gym, then it makes sense. If it doesn't, then it doesn't, and you shouldn't just do it just to change things.
Right. You shouldn't just buy that crazy squat pendulum machine just because you want it. It should fit. It should make. There should be a business reason for it.
I would love a belt squat. I would love, but it takes up so much room and so much real estate, and like three people would like it. That was what happened with my first gym. I spent all of my capital on all the coolest equipment, and I had like three people that were like, "Yes, I am going to join because you have this," but that doesn't really pay the bills. So
Well, since you brought it up, I didn't know about the first gym. So maybe tell us a little bit about that one and why it didn't work out.
yeah. So I got out of I was in the army. I was an active duty soldier for 8 years, and on my last deployment, I knew I was getting out right after I got done, and so I was like, well, what am I going to do? Well, I really like powerlifting and I really like training people, so let's open up a gym. Again, started out in my garage, and I had some early success with a gym building company that I won't mention. And so I tried to go full bore and open up a 3,000 square foot facility. The problem was a lot of my approach to fitness was very gentle and very understanding and very positive, not a lot of hardcore stuff, but all my branding was really hardcore. It was called Iron Sight Barbell Club. It would have been really cool for a CrossFit gym, like a hardcore CrossFit gym or bodybuilding gym, but that's not who we were. So we never made it to any of the audiences. I didn't know how to post on social media. I didn't know how to do anything. I was totally new at business, and I learned a lot of ways not to open and run a gym. I was working 16 hours a day to try and figure out how to bring people in instead of like going to knock on doors and talk to people and be in the local community. So I learned my lessons, and now I work like 16 hours a week here at Alliance Athletics. And I spend a lot of time at home right now. I spend a lot of time with my family. So I learned a lot of lessons from that gym, and I parlayed what equipment I had after I filed for bankruptcy and started over into the new Alliance Athletics.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so then, yeah, how long before you, I guess, oh, so you filed for bankruptcy on that one. Then did you go right back to your garage gym, or was there like a massage therapy break and then back to the garage gym and then?
That was 2020. So I ended up the end of 2019. I did go back. I went back to work. I went back to school. I used the GI Bill to kind of pay myself. I got a degree in exercise science, and then COVID happened, and I was in the National Guard. So I had gone from active to National Guard, and so I spent 9 months on the COVID response. And so I didn't really do much as far as business goes. And then once that was finished, I had a little nest egg, so I managed to bring people in for massage and bring people in for training and build slowly from there.
Got it. Okay. Wow. What a journey. Hey, gym owners, are you looking for a way to generate more leads, close more sales, and increase client retention? Introducing Kilo. We are a software company that gives gym owners the tools they need to increase revenue and run a successful gym. With Kilo, you get a beautifully designed website to capture more leads, an integrated marketing automation platform to increase sales, and our gym management software so you can add new client memberships, process payments, and organize your class schedule. If you're ready to upgrade your gym management software, book a call at usekilo.com. Similar story on my front. We had a CrossFit gym in New York City, and one of the coaches was great at powerlifting and the Olympic lifts, and members wanted to learn more about those things and specialize. So we created a program, after hours, basically like a nighttime barbell program, like at 9 p.m. at night. I think this could only really work in a place like New York City or a big metro where you've got weirdos who are down to work out at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. It was like a fight club basically for barbells. And the program grew, and we called it the Iron Church. We thought it was awesome, and we thought the branding of it was awesome, and we thought that's why people were signing up for it, was because it was such a cool thing. And then we tried to do a whole gym based around this concept. We called the gym the Iron Church, and it was in the suburbs of New Jersey. And yeah, it didn't work. And there were a lot of reasons why it didn't work, but certainly one of them was the fact that no one knows what an Iron Church is. No one knows when they're Googling gyms or personal training, the Iron Church is not going to come up. And I bet Iron Sight is also not going to come up in your search.
No, and even, adding the barbell club, and it just doesn't. No one knows what that is, and they're not gonna. Like the people that do know will join, but that's it. Like you have to, you don't have the reach. Like Alliance Athletics has the word athletics in it, so it hits a lot of different search points. And so focusing back on that branding aspect of it, it's a lot more broad and it can reach a lot more people and they understand like, oh, athletics, gym makes sense.
So, all right. So now we got the new space. We started off small. We had 50 members. We've grown it to 300. What were some of the things that you changed in the business that you think led to this growth?
Yeah, I think we went sort of anti-gym. So we don't have any sign-up fees. And we actually don't have any fees at all. There's no fees. We also don't have any long-term contracts. The longest you'll be in, and this took a little experimentation, is 3 months. So 3 months because our membership or our training is a membership. It's not actually like a package. You don't buy training. You just are a member and have training as a membership. You meet with your coach once a week. We do kind of a hybrid style where you have an online aspect to it. So everybody gets full programming once a week with a coach to answer any questions. And really, it becomes kind of a guided aspect to it where they have that accountability. And it gets people stuck and it creates a sticky situation because instead of trying to sell them at the end of the day on 16 more memberships or 16 more sessions, they just roll over to the next month. And I make it incredibly easy to stop. They just send me a text message or an email saying, "Hey, I'm all done before the 15th of the month prior." So like they want to be done in August, they just got to let us know before the 15th of July, so that way we can kind of gauge out and fill the spots. But that's it. That's the whole thing. Giving them 24/7 access is huge as well without having like a front desk person to check in. There's no check-ins. They come and go as they please and people love it.
Interesting. So wait a second. So if I sign up,
Yeah.
I have access to the gym,
Yes.
but I don't go to class, but I am getting programming from you. And there's a
No.
coach.
So if you sign up for that level, so if you sign up for either one-on-one personal training, we only have 3 membership levels, really.
Okay.
The one-on-one personal training is right now priced at $459 a month. The small group personal training is $229 a month, and then the basic gym access is $79 a month.
Okay, I see. So what's my experience if I come in and I want the basic, the $70 one, the $79 one?
We don't have a public facing way to purchase a membership. You have to come in and talk to us. Part of that is because we are a queer friendly community. That community is everything. Everything that we do is to protect the community and to enhance the community. So it's not like you can go and buy a membership and come in. You have to schedule a tour or no sweat intro or be a referral. So like if somebody has like, hey, my buddy wants to join, cool. We can get them signed up without actually talking to them. That weeds out most of any potential troublemakers. And then the rest of it is kind of on vibes. If you don't seem like you'd fit, we say, hey, sorry, I don't think this is for you. There's, the YMCA was right down the street. Then you get signed up. We prorate. So whatever it is that you join, if you join half of the month, it's half off because you didn't join on the first of the month. We bill everybody on the first of the month. And then you get a key fob. And that's pretty much it. We also offer what's called a queer lifting club. And it's our online programming where it's basic kind of fill in the blank type programming, but it's built specifically for our space. And that's going to be $14.99. It's kind of an add-on, but if you don't want it, that's fine. No big deal. And you automatically get 24/7 access to the facility.
And then so what's the ascension process for getting people into either that small group or into the one-on-ones?
The way that we have people come in is they will either, it's very visible, so it's not like a separate space. They're in kind of the mix. We have an area that is a little bit more aesthetically like a training space. It has a rig. It has its own separate dumbbells, but people use that stuff all the time. They're welcome to use it. It's not like walled off or anything. We kind of keep that up in people's minds. We offer no sweat intros, which is a 45-minute training session, and it's that squat, bench, and deadlift to anybody that comes through. So even if they want a basic membership, I would rather them spend I would rather spend the labor hours to have them understand how to use the gym than for them to not. And people remember that, and they will say, hey, you know what? Actually, I could use some coaching. We also email. I have a company that I contract with. They email twice a month, and just to kind of say, hey, this is what we offer, just in case you're curious. And I also post a lot on social media about it. So
Interesting. So yeah, so you are still doing a one-on-one training session when they first inquire, so they kind of know what that's about. You're also teaching them how to use the space more effectively, and then they get a taste of it right out the gate. So, and then you're reminding them about this service either through the newsletter or through your social media posts. They're also seeing it happening live in the gym when they come in. So no one is surprised that you offer these other services.
no, and we have a pretty good. It's really easy to make a sale when they come in. The tour, when you give tours, my advice is make it as stupid simple as possible. Don't go into, no one cares. No one cares what kind of barbells you have. They'll ask if they're looking for a specific piece of equipment, but just say, hey, we got free weights, we got this, we got that. These are the things. But we focus on the community. Like we have what we call the Silly Goose Lifting Club, where every first Saturday of the month, we have people come in and test their 1 rep max for squat, bench, and deadlift. And it's kind of a community thing once a month, and they write their name with their total up on a board, and it's very prominent in the hallway. It's actually going to be much more visible when we take down some walls. And like, that's the stuff that people want. They don't join a gym, most people, because they want to do whatever. They want to join a community and they want to join something. So you got to give them something to join. And a piece of equipment is not going to do that.
Interesting. So, how does the tour work? You bring him. Is it like a goal setting kind of intake, then a tour, then the session where they're moving, or is it another way around?
It is 15 minutes. We bring them in. We take them. It's literally a loop. We take them around. Say, hey, here's the stuff we got. Then we sit them down. We say, hey, how can we help you? Like, what can we do to help you? What are you looking for in a gym? We get a quick bit of their story, and then we do a prescriptive model. So we say, hey, it sounds like you need some training. So we have this, and then we go over the three options, and that's it. It's like, hey, we have the one-on-one training, we have the small group training, and we've got the basic gym access. But I really think that it sounds like you might need some one-on-one training. Oh, that doesn't work? Okay. Well, then maybe we'll do the small group personal training. Okay, that doesn't work. Then we have this training option along with the basic gym. So you can always go and figure it out what they're needing.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so we kind of got sidetracked. What else do you think you changed that helped go from that 50 to 100, 100, 200, 200, 300 member marks?
Not to hype you up, but honestly, it was
Oh,
Kilo.
oh, great. You can say that. That's fine.
Yeah, having a CRM is such a game changer. So I am incredibly ADHD when it comes to the business stuff. So I am always looking at something shiny and new, and I lose track of the plot all the time. But when I have the CRM and I have like all of the things in front of me in a nice dashboard, and I can say, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do this. All of a sudden, you talked about the leads that we have. All of a sudden, it's really simple, and I can do it from my phone, and I can do it while I'm hanging out with my family, where I take a quick break and I check my phone and then I talk to the lead and then schedule something and I'm on to the next thing. And having that in combination with a banging website is like the easiest thing for me to succeed. So if you don't have Kilo yet, go out and get a consultation, because if you use it right, I would say it can change the trajectory of your business. It has for mine. So
What a delightful and tasteful plug, I think. That was not
no
planned,
worries.
dear listener. That was not planned, but great. Okay. So, yeah, I guess the moral of the story there is being able to track your metrics, being able to have something that keeps you on task and say, hey, this person just inquired. You should probably call them. Hey, this person just emailed. Here's an automated email in response, but you should probably get them booked. All that stuff can pay dividends. It gives you speed. And that's really what it takes to close a sale, right? Speed to response is critical, and repetition, right? And you need tools to help you do that.
I have a stat. We close. I looked over the last year. We closed 50% of our leads. Not the people that booked, not the tours, not the no sweat intros. If you come through our system, we will half of the people will end up purchasing a membership from us.
Let's talk about that. I mean, you do get a fair amount of inquiries. What do you attribute that to?
I think social media is probably the number one thing. I am chronically online, and so I post to social media and I am constantly trying to improve the social media presence. I've got it down now where Instagram and Facebook are kind of my local reach. So I get a lot of very local, very like it's pushed out to the Olympia area. And so that's where I do a lot of like the gym type stuff. So a lot of static pictures, a lot of if I do reels, they are very specific to Alliance Athletics. I'm not looking to do any viral trends or anything like that. TikTok is actually our biggest social media, and right now I'm trying to do a little bit more outreach for the Queer Lifting Club and bring more people in to kind of have another revenue stream with that. So we've got about 15,000 followers, and that was mostly due to a viral post. So we're right underneath Planned Parenthood, and we have protesters outside. And this was before we expanded. I made a video about wanting to expand so we can annoy the protesters, and it went super viral. We had like 1.5 million views, and a ton of people followed, and it's kind of grown ever since.
Interesting. Very cool. So I'm just kind of scrolling on your Instagram. It's a lot of you, it's a lot of these of you saying or doing something. What's your like approach to content? How often are you posting and what are you posting?
So that kind of goes back to like the community piece of it. I will take kind of the ownership of being the face for the gym, and I don't post a lot of clients. In fact, I almost never post any clients, and I always get permission. So like Silly Goose Saturdays, we'll post, but regular training is not something that we post. We want people to come in and experience it. And then we're also very protective of the identities of the people that come to the gym. We have a lot of trans members, we have a lot of queer members, and making sure that any online vitriol that comes their way comes to me because I was in the army and I don't care about those comments. They don't, I put the phone down and they don't exist for me anymore. So I would much rather continue. It might limit me in some way, the growth, but having that piece of it just come to me is something that I'm more than willing to do. So I basically post about whatever comes to mind. I don't really have a strategy. I've tried many times, but it just does not. That my brain does not work that way.
A couple of things there. Yeah. So, like, traditionally, when we're talking about marketing your gym, yeah, you want to highlight the people in your gym and show that they're having fun and show that they're making progress and show that if you're trying to reach a certain avatar, well, look, if you're like this person that's in my gym right now, you're in a unique scenario where as you said, maybe you want to protect the identity of some of your members. So, and that's because you want to make sure that you're creating a safe space for said members, for this demographic, for this group of people. And so then you have to be the face, which also works because, if you're the mascot, you're the face of the gym, but then it falls on you to communicate who your gym is for, that particular avatar, that they're welcome there. Right. So, and so there's a challenge there, but also, yeah, like you said, a lot of opportunities. So, and I think the fact that you just said that you don't really have a strategy, I think that probably works because you're just kind of being your authentic self every time you post.
That kind of comes down to it is like the gym and myself are kind of one and the same. I set it up that way because of the circumstances, and it's worked out really well. And I'll continue it because it doesn't take up a whole lot of my headspace. I'm not constantly thinking about like, oh, this needs to be content, this needs to be content. I have definitely made a lot of boundaries with myself to like, hey, I film these days and I'll batch out everything that I can, or picking up the phone when there's not something going on and making a few videos. It does not take me very long, and because it's me. And we also deal with a lot of like social justice stuff because of who we are and because of the way that our community exists. I deal a lot with like the social justice aspect of it. And so having that kind of be forefront and be a part of the gym and being in the town that we are with the community that we do, it all kind of adds to what we have as far as a social media presence.
So let's talk more about the branding, because it is quite the switch from Iron Sight, Barbell Club to the Alliance Athletic kind of vibe. Certainly a big, I would say, a little more. You were in the military, so Army coded versus very Pride and queer coded. So how did that develop? How did you decide to kind of go that route for this new gym? And yeah, let's start there.
So yeah, I mean, when you're deployed and you're surrounded by nothing but sand and weapons and military, and you wear a uniform every day, and I worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 9 months straight. So it's natural that that kind of sort of flows naturally, right? Like, oh, this looks really cool. Oh, you're just in it. And the more that I went and dived into that gym journey of like my own strength journey, the more I came to realize that like I was never comfortable in a gym. I am actually, so I'm non-binary. That's how I identify. So that when you talk about hypermasculine and going to a military gym, I can promise you that is like the peak of being as masculine as possible. And so I never felt comfortable. And I never enjoyed bodybuilding. I tried so many times to go in and go with my buddies and do these workouts. And then I found powerlifting and I was like, oh, I can go in and it doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter what, the aesthetics are. I can just go and lift heavy weights, pick up heavy, put down circles. It really appealed to me. And so the extension of that is I got a lot stronger and then I started to feel better. And so when I was like, oh, it's the secret. You just become stronger and your body feels better. And so I wanted to give that to as many people as possible in an accessible way. And as I transitioned out of active duty military and I kind of went on my own self actualizing journey as a queer person, I started to realize that, oh, like this is why I'm not comfortable in a gym because it's not built for me. It's not built for who I am. And so the extension of that, Alliance Athletics, it just became a safe place to lift because that's what I wanted. And so it was really easy to open it up and to do the things that would make me feel comfortable in a gym. And it's not like the walls are rainbows and purples and pinks. We have pride flags, but they're not in your face. They're hanging just like any other gym flags would be. There's just more of them. But it's small stuff. Like our gym bathrooms are designated non-binary. So we just have how you go to the bathroom. Okay, we have the stall and the urinal, and the other one has the stalls. And like, go potty. Like I'm not your potty police.
Right.
Okay, like
Right.
just go. The part of the remodel that we want to do is make it like privacy stalls, and so it's truly non-binary because just that's how you go to the bathroom in your own home. So like just do it that way. We also have feminine products in both the bathrooms because we have trans men and trans women, and who cares? Like put it in there because people might use it, and they do. Having a non-judgmental, like we have a no romantic policy, so you can't like having people try to romantically engage in the gym is a big no-no. Just not don't do it because the gym is here to be a space for people to feel as comfortable as possible, and then beyond that, go someplace else.
Yeah, I get it. I can, and yes, that to that last point, not everyone wants to be hit on when they go to the gym. So don't hit on people at the Alliance Athletics, please. Let's
Yes,
just go and
please.
work out. That's fine.
Yep.
I get it. And so and I guess to add on, like yes, there absolutely are more and more gyms that I'm finding that are trying to position themselves this way because there is everyone wants to, or not, everyone should be able to lift, right? That's kind of the idea. Everyone should be able to have access to lifting and being healthy. There's a gym in Los Angeles that I go to when I visit my family. It's called Everybody. Everybody is the name of the gym. And yeah, similar idea. It's an access gym. And it's great. It's always busy. It's always packed. And again, Mark Fisher of Mark Fisher Fitness, a friend of the show, kind of a similar idea when they first started, right? They were a gym for Broadway actors because that's where the gym was located in Midtown, and that community is pretty queer, and that's the way that the gym kind of shook out, and the rest was history, honestly. I guess to that point, though, now that I'm thinking of Mark, there is a kind of, not a trap, but when you decide to be the face of the gym, right, and you kind of represent the brand, there will be a time, depending on what you want to do, where if you want to delegate more or expand, there's going to be that kind of challenge there. So how are you thinking about that as you're already expanding right now? The gym is growing in size. How are you thinking about that and trying to make sure that the brand message and the marketing and the social media, all that stays consistent, but it doesn't all have to rely on you posting on your phone every day?
I think that that is yeah, it's a very sticky situation and something that I'm obviously thinking about. The other piece of that is just doing what we have always done, is slowly transition and figuring out what the next steps are going to be and seeing if things work. I mean, we've had plenty of things that have just not worked. We're just like, this can't be how it goes. So making, if we bring in social media person and sort of do a very slow rebrand, then that's what we do. If it becomes somebody else in the gym, I kind of look at it where there's obviously going to be a drop off, but drop offs happen. So the marketing will suffer for a little bit, and then we will relearn and reposition, and then figure it out from there. I don't like to keep things the same, anyways, and so constantly pivoting and figuring out what the next steps are going to be is something that I like. I love doing. I love figuring it out. I love figuring out the next steps and kind of playing that mental game of like, okay, well, if I do this, how is this going to work? I see the negatives as a lesson. I always try to see the negatives as a lesson, and then trying to figure it out and fix it and move on, because ultimately the gym is really successful. And, if we take a little hit, then we take a little hit and then we move on and make it better.
Speaking of staffing, like how big is the team? I know you have some coaches on there to do some of the sessions. So how big is the team?
I have a coach who is pretty close to full time. She's kind of my right hand. She's actually next month should be moving into more of a COO type position where she takes over a lot of like the daily stuff. And that'll be a slow transition too. We will not say, okay, you're working 40 hours a week, or 32 is what we aim for full time. Go forth and do fill up all these tasks. It'll be like, okay, we're going to spend an hour meeting together each week so we can be on the same page. Okay, now we're going to spend 2 hours going over the coaching programming for all of our coaches. Essentially an evening coach, and then we have a morning coach, and then we have somebody who cleans, and that's it. And my lovely partner helps with kind of the admin tasks that I'm not very good at. Following up is not my strongest suit. So she will step in, and she takes care of like the drop-in paperwork. So she'll follow up with those people and say, hey, how was your time? Did you enjoy it? Are you looking for a membership? She will also reach out to a lot of our older leads. So we came with a lot of older leads, and she's done a great job of reaching out. And she also keeps me working and doing the things that I need to do. So she is an invaluable piece of the team. But as far as like in-house, it's the 3 coaches and a cleaning person.
Okay, well, we're coming up on the hour here. I guess before we hop off, where do we see? I know you say you like to change things up, right? So where do you see the future here? Do you want to just have a mega facility? Do you want to have a couple of these, or are we just going to knock down this wall and then see where we're at for now?
I think we're gonna I think we're going to knock down the wall and see where we're at. I would love to. And a comment I hear all the time. Oh man, I wish you guys were in our city. I wish you guys were where we at, where we are. But I've just signed a 5-year lease. We're going to be I really want to perfect this and I want to put all the systems in place. Right now, we run pretty close to a 30-40-30. So it's 30% profit margin, 40% operating revenue, and 30% of payroll. We're pretty close to that. And so getting that dialed in, getting our membership up to about 500 is about where we're looking to cap, and then we will go on a waiting list and we will say, this is it. This is the membership experience. No more past this. If you want to join, you have to just get on a membership waiting list, and then we'll see how it goes. I would love to open up a second one. Knowing what I know now, it would be a lot of fun, and that it would keep me occupied.
Yeah, sure would. Well, great. I can't wait to follow along and see what happens next. Can't wait to see the space once that wall is down. So I think that is where we will leave it. If people want to follow along and watch the journey, where's the best place for them to find you?
So it's Alliance Athletics and Oli, OLY. So Alliance Athletics Oli, that's our allianceathleticsoli.com. Alliance Athletics Oli on Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok. You can find us on all of those social media platforms.
And dear gym owner, if you're listening out there and you want to go from 50 members to 300, just like Scott, you could check out Kilo. Go to usekilo.com, book yourself a call, and you can also get a dope looking website. You can also get a marketing automation platform and dashboard, and you can also get some gym management software so you can sell those memberships. Book a call with us today if you're interested. And if you like the Gym World podcast, give it a like and give it a subscribe, and also share with the gym owner in need, and so that we can spread the good word of the gym world to more and more people. And with that, gym owner, we will say goodbye. Until next time, we love you.